Changing your motorcycle's oil is one of the most important and easiest jobs you can do by yourself. A lot of people neglect this and you end up with catastrophic failure in your engine. Today I'm going to show you step by step and the materials you need to do it yourself in your garage and save you a little bit of money. Welcome back to Typo's Garage. Today we're going to change the oil on this KLR 650. This is a 1993. The engine has not changed much since actually it has not changed at all other than fuel injection. So I'm going to go over the supplies you're going to need, and I will link them below in the bio. Most of these items are pretty easy to find. If you have a local motorcycle shop near you, there's a lot of online shopping. The online shopping just takes a little bit more research to know that you're getting the right items. So today I'm going to show you what I need for this KLR. Your items may be different. Your oil specs may be different. Your oil filter most likely will be different, and possibly your drain bolt size could be different. So that's all stuff you'll have to get out of your manual. And if you can't find your manual, you should be able to find it online. There's a ton of resources out there in forums to find what you need. To start off, you're going to need your motorcycle oil. I got 10W40. This is conventional oil. It is specifically made for Kawasaki's. This was $31. It does the entire oil change with some extra. One thing you want to look for is this JSO MA2 rating on it, because that's what you need for a wet clutch, which wet clutch means that the clutch is submerged in the oil that the engine also uses. So it keeps it from overheating and lubricated. So this is the oil I went with. So then you'll need a filter. Mine came in this box. This was $9. It is a Kawasaki filter. Kind of looks like this. They all look a little different. Some go into the bottom of the engine for smaller engines. This engine has a side hole, which I'll show in the video where it goes. And you want to get yourself a crush washer. So this crush washer goes between the bolt and the oil pan of the motor. Basically, it'll crush and form a seal so you don't have any oil leaks. So you want to change this out every time. It's very, very cheap. When I got this, I asked them for one at the dealership and they gave me one for free. You can tell it's really light. It may be aluminum, so it's going to crush a little bit. Make sure you get one of these. So for my bike, the drain bolt is a 19mm, and the cap that holds the oil filter in is an 8mm. You'll need both of these and obviously a socket. You can do it with wrenches, whatever you have. This just makes it easier. So you also need a drain pan. You want some rags to kind of clean up, because you will spill a little bit. And then to refill the oil, you'll need a funnel. All these things you can get at Harbor Freight for pennies on the dollar. So get a lot of rags, because you'll be wiping off your bike, anything you get in your garage. And I think you can get a pack of these all different sizes for maybe $3. So not too expensive. You know, you figure at the dealership you're gonna pay $80 for a service on your bike, where, you know, I'm spending maybe $40 here. That adds up over time. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is warm up this bike. You want to let it run for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, get that oil warm, circulating. When the oil gets warm, it thins out. So if you could picture your bike having thick oil in it, it's going to take forever to drain, and it's going to end up not getting everything out of the motor. It's going to be stuck in all the crevices. When it's thin, it runs straight out. Obviously you're not going to get everything, but you're going to get mostly everything, all the junk out of there. The more new oil you can get in there, the better. So we're going to start off with running the bike for about 10-15 minutes and getting that oil warm. now that the oil is all warmed up, we can get started. So now that the oil is warmed up, I'm going to get yourself some gloves because that oil is going to be hot. We're going to take this cap off, the filler cap, because it allows air to transfer through the engine and push that oil out. Kind of like if you dumped a milk carton over and it just blop, blop, comes out like that. This allows, but if you popped, a hole in the top of it, it would run straight out because there's no air trapped in there. So that's the whole point of taking this off. And then we're going to take our drain bolt out, which is right here. And then you got to watch yourself because it is hot. And then we're going to let it drain for a while so it'll all come out. You want to make sure your bike is, pretty much flat. I was going to use a rear stand, but then that would push the engine oil to the front of the motor, which we don't want to happen because then there'll still be some trapped. You want it to be as flat as you can and straight. So I actually have some blocks underneath the kickstand to keep the bike as straight as it can without falling over this way. So that'll help you out get all the oil out. All right, let's take the oil cap off. Set that to the side. You'll get, for me, it's a 19 millimeter. We will pull the bolt out now, and then you'll be able to see the oil come out. When you get to a point where it's pretty loose, you can take it out by hand, but just watch because it is going to come flying out. Start twisting the wrong way. All right, ready? It's already coming out, I can feel it on my gloves. So this oil is actually pretty clean. Sometimes your bike comes with a magnetic drain bolt. This one is not, or else, unless this motor is really good. Let's take that off there. I think I threaded it the wrong way, so that's why we got it. It is magnetic. So that had a little bit of metal on there, but nothing too crazy. Everything looks pretty good. We'll just clean that off. Here's the crush washer that came with it. And I just threw it. It's a little copper one, just like the one we have for this. So we're just gonna let that drain. If you need to pull the bike up a little bit to let the oil come out, you can do that. You can see, one thing I forgot to say is make sure you start with a clean oil pan or catch pan, because then you'll be able to see any metal, any debris, anything that would be worrying or foreshadowing anything bad happening with this motor. And you can see how it was taken care of in the past. Now when I bought this bike, he had just put new oil in it, so I never changed it. It looks pretty clean. It's a little brown. I like to have clean oil on my bike and know that I did it. I'd rather dirty it up, so that's what we're doing now. Right now, I'll show you in a second when it's done draining, but the oil actually looks pretty good. And I know it's gonna be warm, but we'll take a look at it. It's pretty clean. Probably didn't need to change it, but I just also don't know what oil is in it, and I want to put good oil that's good for the clutch. And in a minute, I'll show you the clutch plates in here, and it'll make more sense. So while that's draining, if you can look in there, there's little plates in there, and that's your clutch. So your clutch is lubricated by the oil. That's why you need to maintain your oil. If you don't, your clutch can stick, can burn up, among 50 other things that can happen in your motor. So we're already halfway done. We needed minimal tools, and this is definitely something you can do in your parking lot. You live in an apartment, if your garage, your living room, in your newborn baby's bedroom, you can do it in there. whatever you want. All right, so it's down to just a little dribble. We're gonna let it go a little longer. In the meantime, I'm gonna take this cap off here, and that's where the new oil filter is gonna go. Now you wanna have a rag available because remember, this is a flat surface and there's gonna be oil inside here. It may leak out a lot. I don't know, every bike is different, so we'll find out in a few seconds here. So you may need to give it a little tap, we'll see. Come on. Okay. Have this ready to catch some of the fluid. And there's a lot coming out. Oh boy. See how much is coming out of there? So that's why I had this here. I got a little on the floor. That's why I also keep kitty litter available. Just in case. So let that drain, and you can take a screwdriver or anything and just kind of pull it out like this. You can see how much oil is coming out of here. So we're gonna really want to clean this motor after. So there's our dirty filter. Doesn't look too bad. Like I said, he changed the oil not long before I picked the bike up, so I think it's okay. It just all depends on what oil was used, and that's why I'm changing it. But it's good to know how to do this. So what I'll do is just throw this in the oil. We'll take care of that later. Clean up your oil before it absorbs into the concrete or wherever you're at, especially if you're in your sidewalk or on the street or apartment complex. Don't just leave your oil there. That's not cool, you know. So the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to tilt the bike and get the rest of this oil out. We can go ahead and install our new oil filter here. Clean up some of this here. So, take your oil filter, put her in there, and then grab your cap, make sure it goes on straight again. You can check this, this seal here. Mine looks pretty good. There's going to be a little rubber O-ring around this one. So there's a little arrow on here to show you which way is up. So we'll make sure that gets put back on correctly. And then you'll feel a little bit of resistance because those washers, those little rubber washers on both sides of that filter have to compress together to push the oil through it. So then the screws will actually do the job. So once you get in as far as you can, throw your screws in. Grab your socket and start installing the bolt back in. Now you want to kind of go back and forth to not install one side before the other. You want to kind of do even, see how that clamped in a little bit. Now we'll go back to this side. Get that side pushed in a little bit. And just alternate back and forth until it gets tight. If you could imagine, let's see how I want to do this. So if you tighten this side in all the way, so now you have it cockeyed like this, and it might, stress the cap a little bit. So you want to make sure that you do each side a little bit at a time. Now, like I said, every motor is different, so you may have it in a different position. My V-Star has a cap right here that you pull off, and it's inside there. So like I said, every bike is different. So get that to there. You don't want to over tighten it because you'll end up threading it, but you want it to be tight enough that you're not going to leak any oil. So that's good. Wipe it off. And I'll hit it with a little bit of isopropyl just to kind of eat up some of the oil here. And we'll do that when we're done before we start the motor. All right, so now that it's done draining, we're gonna replace the bolt, the drain plug, and you're also gonna throw your crush washer on there. So we're gonna throw this on. Find the hole. It's right there. Make sure you don't thread it incorrectly, because that gets very expensive. Oh, my hands are all slippery now. There we go. Okay, so now we have it almost threaded, or almost hand tight. We can start tighten this up. So optional, you can use a torque wrench if you have one available. Mine is set to 17 pounds, but we're not going to over tighten this. That's good enough. That crush washer will do its job, and it will expand around where you're tightening to block the oil from coming out. If you don't have a torque wrench available, you want to go until you start to feel resistance and go maybe a quarter turn past that. That should be more than enough to keep that plug on there. Now that we have our plug back in, our new oil filter in, we're going to add our oil. Each bike is different. Mine has a sight glass right there, so that's how we're going to tell where the bike is at oil level. The bike is supposed to take, with taking the filter out and draining the oil, 2.6 quarts. So it's 82 fluid ounces. So we'll dump in 2 quarts, and then we'll use, I have a little rigged up thing that has some measurements on the side of it. So we'll have to do probably a little over half, so that'll be 15 fluid ounces plus another 2. You don't want to overfill it, you can always add more. So let's do that. So most quarts and any container that oil comes in has the measurements on the side. So I'm going to put in 2 quarts, and from there we'll measure it out in our measuring cup. All right, so we're at 2 quarts. I'm going to measure out the rest. So we'll add this. Go up to 15 for the first one. Make sure you're even there. Dump that in. And now we want to do another 3 ounces, fluid ounces. That's a little high. We won't pour all this in. Okay, so if you look right here on our sight glass, it looks like we're filled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the bike a little bit. Looks like we're overfilled. That's because the motor is not running. It hasn't circulated all that oil up into the valves and all that, the good places. So now that we have it at that level, we're going to fire up the bike, let it run for about 30 seconds, check this oil level in the sight glass, and we'll add more if we have to. So I have the bike leveled and I'm looking at the sight glass, and you can see there's two little marks here and here. That's where your oil level should be. You should be dead center. We are a hair below, but I think it looks pretty good. I'll continue to monitor it and decide if I want to add more, but this is a perfectly good fill level for your bike. And that's it. It's a simple way to maintain your bike and keep it running healthy. It saves you some money, and now you have, if you got to buy some tools, you have a couple of tools, and gets you ready for your next ride. Some things to remember: make sure you don't over tighten your drain plug, because that can cause a lot of issues and make you spend a lot of money. And make sure you run the bike and check your oil level after, because if you put oil in, that level is going to be, it might look perfect, but as soon as that motor turns over and takes the oil into the motor, you're going to lose that level. So if you measure everything out, it should work out good. It may look over full at first in your sight glass. It will drop. If it's still high after you run the motor, then I recommend getting, like a pump or something from a soap bottle, and you can pump some of the oil out until you get to a good level. If you guys thought this video was helpful and you want to see more, let me know in the comments what kind of maintenance you want to see. I plan on showing you what a chain looks like when it should be replaced and how to replace it. I'll show you how to adjust it, how to clean it and lube it. I may get new sprockets for this bike, so that may be something else we do. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that button in the bottom right and hit the bell so you can watch my videos when they come out. Like I said, if you need any advice and want to learn anything, let me know in the comments or send me an email. Whatever you want to see, I'll help you guys out. But until next time, thanks for watching, and have a good one. Peace.